Good morning, everyone. It's Libby from Meister Tarot back again. I'd like to acknowledge the Warramai First Nations people, and it is fabulous for you and your guides to come along for this little experiment that I'm doing today. So, for those that missed out earlier, the other day when I was talking about what I'm looking into at the moment, is I had been very, and I still am very interested in past lives, because a lot of what one brings through from their past lives affects how they react and how they relate currently. As an example, as a physical example, I do have a past life where I was beheaded, and you will notice that I will never wear anything around my neck. I do occasionally, if the occasion calls for a necklace or a scarf, but it is very uncomfortable for me and reluctant. I don't wear anything around my neck. You'll also find that I don't wear jewellery. I have had a different past life where I was the wife of a very successful jeweller in Elizabethan England. This is Elizabethan I, and he was commissioned to make jewellery pieces, gold and diamond, as gifts from the Queen Elizabeth I and the court. It was gifts to be given to people that they owe favours to, or they're wanting to make alliances with. And my husband at that time used to make me occasionally copies of those particular gifts, but I was never allowed to wear them in public, and I'm still to this day reluctant to wear. I just don't like wearing jewellery, because I think that comes from not being permitted to wear the pieces that were made for me at that stage. In most of my lives, I was involved in spirituality and what was termed the dark arts in those days, and also spiritual healing, and also medicine woman healing in many, many of my past lives, and was often persecuted for such, had been killed for such, had been driven out for such, and also had been used and trotted out as a show pony. So it had made me very wary about using my spirituality in this lifetime. And I am overcoming this, obviously, via my YouTube channel. So a lot of what goes in past lives is can be logically applied to what is happening in this particular life. And I am very interested in it, and I do read past lives for people. So if you are interested in a past life reading, please drop me an email, and we'll have a look and see what we can bring up. But what I want to have a look at today is by doing the past lives reading, and I have no idea where this came from because I don't know anybody that actually reads on this. I had a real pull to doing future lives. Now, when I'm talking about future lives, I'm not saying the future of this life. This is a physical future life where I have deceased from this life. My spirit energies have gone through whatever process they need to go through, and they come back in a different lifetime. This will be the third future life reading I've done for myself, and I find them very fascinating. However, because the future is not written, it can be changed, but more importantly, I don't believe that these future lives I'm reading will change. There are some that believe that these lives run in parallel, but I think what's happening is that these are the lives based on what will be happening. But the main thing is that can't necessarily delve too deeply into a future life, because depending on how far it is in the future or where the life starts, which is not necessarily on Earth, the technology, the words, the vocabulary, the knowledge is not even thought of yet. I have done for myself a life, it's approximately 900 years in the future, where born on Earth, human but not human as we know it. Excuse me. We've got terrible winds outside at the moment, giving me a bit of a frog in the throat. I am born humanoid, but not human as we know it. And my life path in that particular lifetime involves setting up agricultural systems on other worlds, which is really fascinating. The thing is, though, it is not agriculture as we know it. It is not ground cropping as we know it, and it is not what we perceive the future will be as perhaps an algae-based food system where the nutrients are bred in an algae water substance, and then food is formed from that. It's not that either. So I don't know what it is, and I'm fascinated to find out. To allay some fears, it is not a Star Wars future. It is not a Star Trek future either, unfortunately, so I won't be going up to a machine and pressing a button and going, please, a double Chardonnay and a slice of chocolate cake. No calorie chocolate cake. It's not a Star Wars or a Star Trek future. It is more Star Wars more Star Trek than it is of the other path. So rest assured, it is good. It's just not. I've just been told it is not that future that is currently being perceived. Okay, let's get started. What I've done is I've pre-shuffled, because you don't need to see me shuffling. I've asked Pendulum if these cards are in the right order, and I'll bring you down to show the cards. And these give me a basis for the reading, and they will be drawn on throughout the reading to explain certain elements of it. So let's have a look. So what I've got here is the first, so this is giving me a foundation of this reading and of who I am in this future life. So I take them in pairs in this way, and so this is how we will read them. So what we've got first is we've got the Two of Cups. So I'm using my Lightseer's Tarot here. This is my family and friends cards. The Two of Cups. So this is all about partnerships, relationships, close partnerships in relationships in a positive manner, teamed with the Queen of Swords. So it is telling me that in this particular life, I don't know whether I'm masculine or feminine yet, I will ask that, but I'm bringing forward feminine energy here and masculine with the King of Swords here. So we'll ask in a moment. And I have done a life reading for a friend, and it turned out they actually had no gender definition in this particular future life for them. So we'll see where this leads. So I am bringing forth, I believe that I am going to be in a position, quite a powerful intellectual position, a position of wisdom where I have some form of rule. But it is a clear, icy, common sense, calm, but perceptive rule. But it is a positive, working together form of ruling. Again, strength, a position of strength, but also compassionate strength, which is coming from this feminine energy. But because I also have the King of Swords, now he is a benevolent, very kings are usually compassionate as well, but this is bringing forward the masculine energy. Again, sitting in a position overlooking the rain, overlooking the realm, and bringing forth the energies of wisdom. You've got the owl down here in this particular card. You've got the bat. You've got the crow in the masculine energy card. So you've got both the compassionate energy of wisdom and perception and integrity, but you've also got the masculine energy in this particular lifetime. Also have the Star of Hope, which is a beautiful card. So again, this is telling me that in this particular life, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be in some form of leadership position, and I am bringing hope and serenity and power to whomever I have this position over. But that's also, it is, so the star of hope, And serenity is sitting over the death card. Now, it doesn't mean death, it means authentic reform. So it may be that whatever position I'm in this lifetime, I am actually reforming through my positions of power and strength whatever is happening in the community that I am in at this stage. It's a very nice death card, this one. It's about death and rebirth, but also authentic reform for the better. Ten of Pentacles, all about the family. Practicality in regards to the family, abundance, wealth, health, you name it, all the positive things. So this is a culmination. So through these cards here, I'm entering this period through this authentic reform, through this position of power, through this compassionate strength, through this working together. I'm bringing forward a very positive culmination to the families and to the community that I'm looking over. And I do apologise as this sounds, because I keep saying I as in the ego. So please excuse me if this sounds a bit self-indulgent here. Not all of these future lives are great, but this one seems to be stacking up pretty well. And then we have this Page of Wands, which is about bringing forth the celebratory new start, new messaging, new hope for the youth, but also this future extremely positive message. So I do love these particular cards. Okay, so we'll just pop these cards here. We'll refer to them as necessary. Love to have some feedback and some comments, but what I'll do now is I'll move to pendulum, and I shall start asking questions about this future life. So I'll just drop you down so you can see pendulum. It'll be working over these cards. Okay. So where do we start? May I ask a question? And all I can really do now is either draw some clarifying cards or ask some clarifying questions. May I ask a question, please? If I'm talking about a future life, my first question is, this life, am I born on earth as we know it? Am I born on earth? Am I born on earth? And I'm getting a no, so I was born off planet somewhere. May I ask a question, please? Am I born humanoid? A descendant of humans as we know them. Am I born a descendant of humans as we know them? So that's a yes. So I'm born somewhere, not on Earth, but as a descendant of humans. So we'll just ask if we can get a time frame. Now, because I'll go from 20... So what am I at the moment? I'm in my 50s. Assuming I go for a few years more, what I'll do is I'll take the time frames from 2050 in lots of 100, and then we'll narrow down when this lifetime actually occurs. So here we go. May I ask a question, please? May I ask a question, please? May I ask a question? Thank you. Is this lifetime from 2050 to 2150? 2050 to 2150. May I ask, is this lifetime 2050 to 2150? And that's a no. Okay. It's going back to neutral. Is this from 2150 to 2250? Is this lifetime 2150 to 2250? Well, I'm getting quite a strong yes there, which surprises me for an off-planet birth, because humans won't have gone too far by then. Okay, may I ask a question, please? Back to neutral. Is this from... Where am I up to? Is this from 2150 to 2200? 2150 to 22? No. Okay, back to neutral. Is this from 22 to 2250, please? Is this 20 to 22 to 2250. And I'm getting a yes. Okay, we'll narrow it down a little bit further. Is this 20? Okay, back to neutral. Is this 2200 to 2210? No. Is this 2210 to 2220? 2210 to 2220, I'm getting a yes. And then we start narrowing it down to the year, only because it's really interesting to do. May I ask a question, please? Okay, what are we up to? Is this 2210 to 2215? No. Am I getting 2215 to 2220? 2215 to 2220, so that's a yes. So is it 22, is my birthday time, my birth year 2215? No. 2216, 2216, it's changing. And that's a yes, and I do like to double check, so is it 2217? And then I'm getting a no again. So, off planet, humanoid, 2216. Let's see where that leads us. Okay. 2216 is the birth year off planet. Now I'm going to ask, may I ask please? Thank you. In this lifetime, am I male or am I male? Am I male? In this lifetime, am I female? Am I female? So yes, I'm female. Okay. Am I born on a planet? May I ask, am I born on a planet? Well, that's a very definite no. Am I born on a spaceship? That's a yes. May I ask a question? Am I born within the known Earth solar system? Am I born? And that's a no. Is my life spent on, may I ask? Yes, okay, it's going back to neutral. Is my life spent on a spaceship? And it's telling me yes. Okay, may I ask a question, please? Is my leadership position on this spaceship? Is my leadership position? Okay. Is my leadership, yeah, going back to neutral, so it's a no. Is my leadership position within the solar system? A yes, very definite yes. Where do I go now? May I ask a question? Am I a diplomat of some sort? Am I a diplomat? No. Am I a negotiator? Am I a negotiator? No. I told you it was difficult to know what questions to ask because it is a future that we have not got yet. Okay, thank you. Back to neutral. Back to neutral. Am I a captain of a spaceship? Well, that's a very strong yes. So I do become a leadership position on this spaceship. Is that right? Do I become a leadership position? I'm getting no. Getting to the stage where I'm going to have to start thinking, okay. Back to neutral. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause you briefly and I'm going to think of some more questions that I need to ask to try and narrow this down. Basically what I'm going to do is oh dear. That Spot Sorry about that. He's very allergic to fleas, and we found a flea on him the other day, and we have dosed him up for fleas, but the dose doesn't seem to be working, so I'm going to have to find something a little bit more potent for the poor chappy. Okay. Because otherwise he just scratches himself crazy. Okay, so I'm just thinking about this. Okay. I'll just ask. Just sprung to me. Okay, may I ask a question, please? May I ask a question, please? Thank you. Am I what we would probably call some form of social worker on this ship? Am I a psychiatrist, a social worker, a leader in the mental health of those on the ship? And that's a yes. Okay, may I ask a question? Is this a ship of science? Is this a ship of science? That's a sort of. Is this a spaceship of discovery? May I ask a question? Yeah, it's gone back to neutral. Is this a spaceship of discovery? And that's a yes. May I ask a question, please? May I ask a question? Is this a... How do I go? Back to neutral, please. Back to neutral. Is this an intergenerational spaceship? Intergenerational. That's a yes. Is this spaceship travelling... Yeah, back to neutral. Thank you. Is this spaceship travelling out of the solar system? And that's a little yes. Oh no, getting bigger, yes. Thank you, back to neutral. Is this a one-way journey? Is this considered a one-way journey for those on board? A one-way journey of discovery. And that's a small yes. So is there anticipation? Back to neutral. Thank you. Is there an anticipation that this spaceship will one day return to Earth? Is there an anticipation that this spaceship will one day return to Earth? So that's a yes. So, if you have any questions on that life, please ask and I can do a follow-up video. But that's just a general about how I go about it. So what I'm looking at, feeling very woozy there. Thank you, Meister. Thank you, Narine. Is that this particular future life, born not on humanoid, but not on Earth, in the year 2216, I rise to a very very strong mental health position, which actually brings in this compassionate strength, and it plays into both of these two cards. I didn't ask, I did ask, I was female, but it is also about the Star of Hope, because you can imagine if it is a one-way journey for most on this ship. So it is an intergenerational spaceship, so what it is, it's about going out and exploring, not just for science but for discovery as well. If it is what will happen is it's intergenerational on the ship, so therefore there will be births and deaths during the journey. So this Star of Hope is extremely important to keep alive, to keep this, thank you, this is what I'm getting, is this string between the ship itself, the umbilical cord between the ship out in the stars and grounding of Earth. So it's very important for the mental health of those who are undertaking this travel to remain mentally grounded with this connection to Earth. And this authentic reform, but death and rebirth. This is literally death and rebirth as we go through this journey. So I'm working together with those on board, with real compassionate strength, inner strength, for the mental health of all those that I'm looking after on this literal life and death journey. It's not life or death, it's life and death journey, which is very much about holding together, holding this hope, holding this grounding, holding this light as we are amongst the stars with the mental health of those on board in these family situations. And it is very much about the youth of these families going forward and discovering. So thank you for that today. That was really interesting. That's another life I have to write down for myself. But that's how I do it. If you are interested, drop me a line. We'll see what we can bring up for you. And what I would do is I would do this video similar in a video for you and private link you to the video. So we shall see where it leads. Love some feedback. If you have any more questions on that particular life, please pop them in the box below and we'll see where it takes us. Looking forward to it. Thank you, and thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.